all very much for coming, and I'm very pleased that Mayor Curtis decided to do this. And I give the mic to Mayor Curtis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a special welcome and a special thank you for all the years of service. And that's what this reception is really all about, to recognize people here and to say, on behalf of the City of Cambridge, the community, we do really appreciate what you have done, what you've committed yourselves to, and just the fact that you have had for us in this city such a wonderful court facility. I spoke to Patty earlier, about a month ago. We talked about having a reception. She said she wanted it to be a small, intimate reception for 200 people. So here we are today. And I'm so glad all of you are here. I'd like you to, really just have a good time. And I think also what I'd like to say, and it's got to be said, we're very unhappy as a community that you're leaving. And I want you to know that. This is not fair to the City of Cambridge. We are a city of 132,000 people. We have 10,000 people in North Dumfries who are now not going to be served in the way they ought to be in terms of what you used to provide. So again, a heartfelt thank you and our very best and Godspeed to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I was thinking about my comments for today, I was thinking, one might say I want to bring greetings, but it's not really that sort of affair where you want to bring greetings because of the court closing. It is a bit of a sad occasion, really. When you consider the fact that, and I'm glad, Doug, that you touched on it at the end of your remarks, when you consider the fact that we have a consolidated courthouse up in Kitchener, sometimes, as I've learned through my short stint in politics in the few years that I've been doing this, that consolidation is not always the best approach. The centralizing of services is not always the best approach. During my time on regional council and sitting beside Doug, who's been kind enough to mentor me, we're brothers south of the 401, and we head up to a regional council to comment and deal with some of the issues that are happening up there. We find that when you consider, for example, your EMS services or your police services, which are both centralized services, and contrast that with your fire services that happen, where fire services are carried out by the individual cities and by volunteer departments in the townships. And I think Doug would agree with me that the most efficient use of our tax dollars are really with those services that have been centralized. Now, you can't centralize everything, perhaps, and the region has a good model in place, we feel, with respect to some of the services that are centralized and some that are kept at the municipal level. But definitely, certainly with respect to the consolidation of the courthouse, while they might be thinking they're saving money with respect to having everything in one location, I think many of us here know, those here that practice in Cambridge all the time, know that they're operationally, there's going to be a lot of additional costs that are going to occur. And just speaking with some of the people, like Frank Montero, former police officer, any of the officers will know, and speaking to Mr. Bowman earlier, his first opportunity to appear up at the Consolidated Courthouse resulted in his client not showing up. Why? 4 transfers to get from Cambridge up to Kitchener. I mean, it's not practical, and there's going to be a lot of issues, and they may be small, but over time they're going to become significant. And unfortunately, the decision has been cast, and hopefully the region will take a look at some of the services like rapid bus, not to raise the LRT rapid bus situation, but we need an improvement in the ancillary services in order to serve that building, and hopefully that is going to be done. And if they want to ensure that Cambridge is properly represented, properly served, we have to start thinking about those things, and the local representatives like Doug, myself, Claudette, who's here, the municipal politicians that are all here from Cambridge, will be fighting to try to do that. But anything that you from the bar can raise in terms of ways to better and improve the services that we're stuck with now with respect to the Consolidated Courthouse, make sure you bring that up. Any ideas you have in order to improve access to justice, access, just simple transportation access, those sorts of things. Bring those forward, and we'll advocate on your behalf to make those things happen as best we can. Working together, we can try to create this a beneficial situation for everyone. But for tonight, As Justice Hardman and Mayor Craig have said, it's a celebration and a thank you for all the work that you've been doing here in Cambridge over the years. And as you move around the room, you hear many great stories about Justice Kirkpatrick and all these other sorts of things here. So anyway, congratulations to all of you, but let's look forward and see how we can all work together to make what we have anyway a better situation. Thank you very much.
So I would now like to propose a toast to the Cambridge Courthouse and all those who have served honorably in it, and to the aforementioned Kitchener lawyers. Look out, here she comes.
The easy impression, and I echo the comments of the other speakers, Mayors Craig and Deutschmann and Mr. Broman, of the loss we have, the sheer convenience of it all. I was here when they did have the police station, the court above the police station, and throughout for 35 years I've been trundling up and down the street to the courts. Frankly, my association with the criminal law has not been that particularly deep, as in many other aspects of my practice. Long, but not deep. So, but nonetheless, I have been back and forth, both in family and criminal, for over 35 years. And I feel that I do have a good impression of what's been going on. And certainly that convenience, the lawyer's convenience, the client's convenience. It's a place where we were able to get to easily, the clients were able to get here easily. Giant tigers right across the road. If there's a break in the action, you can go over and pick up your Halloween candy or pop or cigarettes or whatever you want. And it's a place where, very conveniently, on the second floor of the Crown Attorney's office, they might peer out the window and note some local miscreant conducting a drug transaction in the pill hall, send the constable out there, and within moments an arrest would be effected and the gentleman would be on his way up to Kitchener. Perhaps out before 5 o'clock on bail. But during that time, as I say, it was early on in my career where I first had that, I was always felt that we were doing serious and important business there. And that was a shared sentiment, and that hasn't changed over the years. It's come down from the top, perhaps, but regardless of, and Mr. Broman adverted to this, all the people involved, right from, I don't want to leave anybody out because it is such a team effort. It was the court offices, the court officers, the court staff, the probation officers, the John Howard people, of course the lawyers in the judiciary and the crowns. Everyone seemed to just assume what we all knew, that we were doing important business and there was a standard to be maintained. And when I think of that period of time, I think of the word stalwart, diligent, conscientious, respectful, and effective. And indeed, that's how I believe that the administration of justice has been conducted in this most unassuming, indeed Spartan edifice. And it comes into stark relief when we consider what we're going to. I mean, the move from the parking lot to above to Main Street is one thing, but certainly a quantum leap to the new courthouse, which is extravagant and opulent in the extreme. Certainly, our little place was not a palace of justice, it was a place of justice. It was the court of justice, 89 Main Street, over a period of 30 years. And everybody involved in that seemed to be involved in a very respectful way, a diligent, conscientious way. You knew there were standards to be met, you knew it was important, and all that was done with humanity and compassion as well. And I trust that the powers that be will give some thought and attention, as adverted to by my previous speakers, as to the other matters, that funds commensurate with what's been invested in plant and planning be invested in the access to justice and what is required to make sure that we are actually serving the needs of often vulnerable and disadvantaged people. So thank you very much, and here's to the Courthouse.
Earlier this evening, I gave Justice Hardman and Justice Nicholas a hug, and I said, this is probably the last time I can hug you before I retire because of the new security. I know that there's going to be an adjustment. I'm not happy to go to Kitchener. Everybody knows that in my office because it's a community. It's a community. It's a large community, and there's many courthouses around the province that have a lot smaller communities that have courthouses. Why that Cambridge is closing? It's far beyond me because I'm not part of that decision making, but it's very unfortunate, and I leave you with this, that this past Thursday was our last criminal court, and one of the accused came in both courtrooms. She said, well, I'm not coming to Kitchener. Here's my address, come get me, but I'm not coming. And there'll be many more like that. So get the bus out and start picking them up, and maybe if it becomes too much of an expense, they might open up a little courthouse above the police station somewhere. Have a good night.
He made administration move the entire family court, files and all, down to Cambridge. These were actions taken by people who truly represent Service Ontario, as opposed to the one we're facing now. It is most unfortunate, and I would use two words, inexplicable and inexcusable, really, that we're in this position tonight. But the last note I would say to all of you is you are all wonderful people. The people of Cambridge and North Dumfries don't know how hard you work. They spend time yelling at you at the counter, don't they? They spend time yelling at you in the courtroom. But when all is said and done, I agree with all the positive remarks that have been said. The bar down here is a strong one, a cooperative one, yet never stepping aside from their duties to their clients. And I want to thank all of you very, very much for what you've done. And I want to say that this is the last thing I'm going to say as probably the last Cambridge judge. All rise for Cambridge.